Good day, everyone. In a very few days, we will celebrate Thanksgiving of 2020. Quite a year. And it will be a very different Thanksgiving for many of us. So maybe for the first time, many of us may not be able to be with those we love the most. Many of us may be by ourselves. It's a great sacrifice for us to make. Yet to keep each other safe and healthy, it's an important sacrifice as these cases of the virus continue to surge. So I think the challenges in the midst of all the chaos that's going around the world in the midst of this pandemic, and how it has certainly turned our lives upside down, we have to ask ourselves, what is most essential for us to remember this Thanksgiving? And perhaps that is that we have so much to be grateful for, whether we are alone or whether we are with a small group of family members. Let us never forget that most important piece, this Thanksgiving, all the things that we need to be grateful for. During this pandemic, when we have all experienced so much isolation, I have stated that one of the ways that we can deal with this isolation and not being able to do what we ordinarily do, go out to restaurants and those kinds of things, one of the things that we can all do is read some really, really good books that will challenge us, books that will connect us to the rest of humanity and to help us understand what different peoples go through around the world. I just finished an amazingly good book entitled The Beekeeper of Aleppo, written by Christy Leftieri. And she writes this fiction book, though she was a daughter of refugees, and it's about the Syrian refugee crisis. And as you know, we are all aware that so often refugees are demonized. Well, in this novel, Christy Leftieri humanizes them and takes us on their horrifying journey. It's a beautifully written fiction about Nuri, who's a beekeeper, and Afra, his wife, who's a gifted artist. They had a wonderful life until it's all destroyed by war, and they must leave the country that they love, Syria. Afra, because of the trauma of the war, she loses her eyesight. So it is a story of desolation and displacement. It's a story of pain, loss, but also a story of hope. It's filled with sorrow. It's filled with the suffering of innocent people that are determined to find their new way of life. One reviewer wrote, "It is a moving examination of how people make sense of who they were and who they have become." So many of us hear these stories of refugees in the abstract. Well, this novel, written by the child of refugees, humanizes it and takes it out of the abstract. Another reviewer writes, "It reminds us of our capacity to love, to be empathic, and to always continue to hope." The story is basically, the essential piece of the story is the love story between this husband and wife, Nuri and Afra. That's the heart of the book. And it gives us the courage ourselves to be determined to figure out who we were before this pandemic, we are becoming, and who we want to be after this. It's a great story to read. During these days of isolation, we will come to realize that we don't have it so bad. If these refugees can leave all that they knew and face the terrors of escaping the evil of war, we can certainly deal with this pandemic. So this Thanksgiving, let us again really be grateful for the freedoms that we have and open our eyes to the suffering of so many innocent human beings. And maybe we'll come to truly appreciate the essential meaning of Thanksgiving, that it's about being grateful. And that's what's going to get us through this pandemic. It's being grateful. So we might have the best Thanksgiving ever, coming to realize that we are all children of God. So let us continue to pray for each other, that we be safe and healthy, and let us continue to pray that we all truly be grateful for all of the blessings and gifts that we have in the midst of the struggles we face these days. Have a peaceful Thanksgiving. Let us continue to pray for each other to be safe and to be healthy.